Okay, thank you for coming to my session. Hope you had a nice lunch. Yeah? Nice to see so many people in the room. I am Koenraad. I'm a trainer about, I don't know, 11 years, 12 years. Getting old. Yeah. Mostly, when we do sessions, it's always about 2012 server, so I'm in the IT pro thing. But my actually work, most of my clients are in the small business. Yeah? So if I'm called to do a class, this is for bigger companies like the European Commission or really big guys, but that's not where I do most of my consulting. Most of my consulting is done with small businesses. Yeah? That's in Belgium. We are big because of all the small ones. Yeah? So, but I think it's the same thing in a lot of countries in Europe. Certainly in Holland. Yeah, it's the same thing. So, small business should mean less functionality for the small business users. They want the same thing today. So if you see, we will talk about what's next. No more small business server. I think everyone that works now with small business clients has a small business server, because admit, from a commercial point of view, this was a nice product. You could have SQL, Exchange, all kind of things for a very small price. And then you can just add 5 users, 10 users, client access licenses. And the client could grow on his own piece. Yeah? So that's a way now. No more small business server. Well, no more small business server. We have a new small business server. We will see that. Yeah. Everybody wants to be in the cloud now. Or they think they have to be in the cloud. Or they have been told to be in the cloud because they were in the golf class with one of the other investors or things like that. They say, you should go to the cloud. I read an article about it. Yeah, okay, why not? Why not go to the cloud? But for what product will I go to the cloud? Do they go to the cloud completely? Do they only go to the cloud for their backup, for their email? Why not? My question is, why should a small business with, I don't know, 6, 5, 10, 12 users, 20 users, have an own Exchange server on-premise? Because admit, this is a pain in the ass, an Exchange server. To do the backups and to maintain that, it's a costly thing. So I'm one of the IT implementers, so I earned a lot of money with them just to keep that running. Now I've changed my focus too. I've founded a new company. It's more specialized in cloud computing, in hosting and things like that, because it's like they say this morning, you have to adjust, you have to adapt. Yeah? Will this change things for us? Yeah, it will change a lot of things, but we will still have work, we will still have sessions to train. I think a lot of smaller IT companies have to train their guys how to handle essentials, how to handle small businesses and things like that. Okay, so I will do some small demos connecting this Office 365 account to an essential server. Backup, I think backup is an issue also with small business clients because they do not like to change these tapes and this hard disks. They always forget that, they do not get reports. So now maybe that's an opportunity to just say, hey, you want in the cloud? We will put your backup in the cloud. And then he can say, when he's playing golf, I'm in the cloud. And he will be very proud, this client. His data will still be on-premise, but he will be connected to the cloud. So he will be proud to say that. So this is bringing, actually, cloud features to the small business. Yeah? But now these days, you know, the directors of the small companies, they come with their iPhones, with their smartphones, Android, I don't know, all kind of things. And they have to, can you configure that? Can you do that? It would be easy that I can see my documents or my spreadsheets on my tablet. That's very easy now. So we will not only bring service from the cloud to our small businesses, we will let our small business server provide cloud services to his co-workers, to his employees, maybe to partners. So that was the past. What was the files under the small business server used for? Mostly with Active Directory. They can log on, they can have some security, because they needed an on-premise email system with calendar sharing and things like that. So small business was really very good at that. It also has the file and print serving. You could secure files, you could make backups. It was even used to secure internet connections and before. And maybe now you can still do that. I don't know if you have already seen the Windows firewall with advanced features. Yeah, for a small business, this is not a bad firewall. You can also put netting on it and do neat things with that. If you put a second network card in your server, maybe it's better than this cheap broadband router that he bought at the MediaMarkt or something like that. It's also used as an application service. I already saw small business servers running SQL, Exchange, everything on one box with 2 gigs of RAM and then you know the thing. Yeah, so they were very heavily used. Because before that we didn't have any virtualization. Now sometimes we can buy a box with powerful processor. We had some more RAM in. It's not that expensive anymore, so we can do some virtualization. But problem was, small business server wasn't allowed, licensing-wise, to be virtualized. Even SBS 2011 was not allowed. Even 2012 Server Essentials is not allowed to be virtualized. That's one of the improvements and the new things of 2012 R2 Essentials. Now you can virtualize it. Yeah? If you read. Okay, a lot of people do it. But then you can run different kind of things. Okay. So that's the future now. So we have more things to connect, more things to worry about, and cloud-related stuff. So why not use this server, this box, to put Windows Server Essentials on, or 2, and then say, okay, let's use it for application server, let's use it for file and print serving, because admit, clients, they do want their data locally today, small clients. They're so afraid, I don't know, they have a black countenance or something like that. But they do want to put their data on premise. I say, okay, no problem, you can do that. And we can make even sure that it's backed up, so that you have your peace of mind. Exchange server is gone. It's not gone. It's still possible. If you have a small business server Essentials R2, you can still install your own on-premise Exchange server. And in the dashboard, you will see the dashboard later on, it's an easy management tool that you do not have to know all those difficult screens in Exchange and things like that. And even if you have an on-premise Exchange server, you can manage it the same way as you have Office 365. It doesn't really matter. You can just choose. But I think for small businesses, Exchange, just put them in the cloud. Sell this Office 365 thing. Train users to use them. Make them realize what advantages they have with that. Backup to Azure is really easy. Don't say it's cheap, but it's easy. And it's quite trustworthy. So application server, you can still virtualize a 2012 standard server with SQL next to it or something. I don't know. IIS service on it. So basically all the features that 2012 server has. And that's a new thing, because before, with small business server, there were some lacks in functionality. Not all functions were available on a small business server. Now they are. So if you look at an out-of-the-box installation of a 2012 Server Essentials, it's actually the same as a standard or a data center server. It has the same features. The only thing is now, license-wise, this is easier because small businesses, they do not have an open license or volume license, things like that. It's too complicated, it's costly. So now you can just go to 25 users with no extra calls. If you want to, you can go to 50 or 75, I think now with the 2012 R2. And even if you grow further, you can just migrate to standard. You can just the same server, you can just migrate it to standard, Windows Server Standard. So you have a lot of growth. They shouldn't be afraid that they will become too big. So by default it's 25 users, but 50 devices. So for us, a small business with 25 users. If you have a client with, I don't know, 100 users, and you want to give him the same experience that a Essential server has, just go and install this role on a standard server, because the role, Essential server, it's a role on every server, even on data center, even on standard. You can just install it. Yeah? But then, licensing-wise, you should need calls, you should have an open license, things like that. Yeah? That's the only difference. Yeah, that's a bit of a past. So, I told you that we have all the same functionalities, but this is very difficult for the small business users to use those functionalities. So now Microsoft actually put those functionalities into solutions. Very easy to install, to configure, to manage solutions. You have, for example, a solution, Anywhere Access. You just go and click on it, next, next, you provide your certificate. I was having a discussion yesterday evening with a developer that he said we are the next finished guys. So, but actually it becomes like that until you have a problem. So yes, we'll still need system engineers that will do deep diving if there's a problem. But you can have technical engineers trained just to do the installation. If there is an issue, call them. So this solutions is really neat. Just click on Anywhere. He will install for you all the roles necessary, configure them, put the right certificates in, making sure the security is good. He will even configure your router if you have a PnP router. So it will go better. He will set up your firewall rules and things like that. So everything easily managed from a dashboard. I'll show you this dashboard later on. Even client PCs will now be backed. So if you set up an Essential server and you do connect from the client PC, you can just back up automatically your client PCs to the server. And then making sure your server is backed. Yeah?
Just want to mention there, it's not mentioned on the slide, but it also has a lot of features for Mac clients.
Yeah.
And in Norway, a lot
yeah.
of our customers have Macs.
Yeah.
And they still want the Microsoft server solution.
I was getting there. That's one of the biggest reasons now we sell Essentials. Yeah. Because, I don't know why, but some clients still need to have 1 or 2 Macs in their company or more. And yeah. But it has. So you will see if you go to the connect slide, so the name of your server /connect, it will be prompt. Download for Windows or for Macintosh. You can just connect with your Mac. You have the same functionality, access to your printers, to your folders, your shared folders, access to the SharePoint things you have set up. Very easy. Yeah. But it isn't mentioned on the slides. That's true. It should be. Yeah. Be careful with the Windows Phone app and with the Windows RT app. There is a new one. So the app for 2012 Essentials will not work. I was troubleshooting that, and then a day later, suddenly an email came from Microsoft. We released the new Server R2 app. And that worked perfectly. So why the first one doesn't work on the other one, I don't know. But you need the latest app to do that. Okay, those are some new features. I won't go into them all because it will take a long time. But you see all the new features that are in 2012 Server are also in this Essential. We have our storage spaces, our integration, NIC teaming, the new NIC teaming thing, Hyper-V replicas we can do with that. My Server update, very neat, cool application. Did you ever saw the My Server application? Very easy to connect to see your files. So this dashboard. Just demo that because the slide isn't so clear. Very easy. adding users, configuring services, even having add-ons, third-party add-ons. So there's an API for Essentials, so the developers can write their own programs. Good help. So I'll just try to go into that. Yeah, I have to not configure it yet, this one. I will duplicate my screen, this will be easier. Hope the resolution will work with me. Yeah, thank you. So just make a remote desktop connection. Why doesn't it do that in full screen? You see, it's actually a standard 2012 R2 server, no more no less, with some functionalities. I've set up a server also in Azure. In Azure now you have a template with 2012 server standard with the Essentials role. You already installed it. It's just a template. You click it on, you say next, 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 and 8 minutes later you have a server with Essentials on that you can play with. You can, okay. So you can put a terminal server next to it and make connections and create your own virtual network. It seems a bit slow there. I don't know why. It was faster this. There he is. So a dashboard with very good health monitoring. Yeah. You can set up reports, health reports, so every day you can just send out an email saying my backup was okay, this user's PC was not backed up, connection to the cloud lost, very good reporting. So actually, if I do not get a report, I know something is wrong with my server. Yeah?
Quick question. I was trying to set it up service.
Yeah?
And the mails don't arrive, which I suspect is probably because it's using a private IP, therefore it gets
yeah.
mail. Have you how are you setting that up? Are you setting that up on the typically Office 365 SMTP or on some other SMTP, or have you ever tried to use the?
No, we have an own SMTP server in our network, and
okay. And
yeah,
that one?
yeah, we use that one.
Okay.
Well, it should be doable normally. We should be able to connect that, but no, mostly with small business clients, they have the SMTP server of their internet service provider.
Right.
Yeah, so even for their fax machine, we dare to put the ESP SMTP server in.
What we usually do,
Yeah.
the ISP of the small business.
Yeah.
Use the, I'm sorry.
You use the ISP provided SMTP service of the ISP the customer use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not from the essential server.
No.
I was wondering if anyone had experience with it.
No. No. And if you do an on-premise Exchange installation, then we use that one as the SMTP. And, so those are emails, email sent, email sent. But you will see very easy users. We'll come back to users to see how easy it is to install users, to remove users, and so on.
Sorry, hold on a question. If I remember well on the max, probably Windows data. The maximum delay is daily. You can't do it weekly, right?
No. Yeah. Well, I do not have a problem, but I
get a lot of mail already.
Yeah, me too. But rules to put them in the right folders, and actually I try to send these emails to my client and not to me directly. Yeah.
Same experience, I guess.
Yeah. So, devices. So every computer that will be connected will show up here in your devices. You can point the computer to a user. So if he logs into the web portal, You can just click on this computer and do a remote desktop session to it over SSL. You will use the RDP gateway. So all those neat roles and features were just set up automatically without doing anything. So Office 365 connections and so on, online backup. But I will try to demo that later on. I will just shut down this one and start up a blank one so we can do the complete installations ourselves. Shut down. Shut down now, man. Are you clients happy now having the start button again on the screen? I had so much complaints about it, couldn't understand why, but...
Now they complain they don't have the start menu.
Yeah, but admit, it's better, have a start screen now. So, like I told you, we will bring the small business to the cloud with Office 365 and with Azure. Of course, you can have a lot of other things in the cloud. For example, SharePoint services, very easy to connect to. Then your user will use his My Server app on his phone or on his tablet. Not only the shared folders will appear, even the libraries from SharePoint will appear on the screen. So very easy to connect, very easy to use. I will just boot up now the other demo server. Office 365 login. Who has experience with Office 365? Yeah. Pleased with it? Yeah, it's very easy. I think the Exchange part in it is so easy to control. And even if you have to deep dive in it, just go use PowerShell, do a remote connection, and it's neat as a partner that you, wait a minute, because I have another keyboard here. So it's a Belgium-French keyboard. It's not the same as a Belgium-Dutch keyboard. You know, it's so Office 365, yeah, go ahead.
As a Frenchman, I was going to apologize to the French people.
Yeah, well, it could be French. Yeah, but I know there are quite a different. Aren't you Swiss? No. Yeah. So this is a test Office 365 account. If you're a Microsoft partner, you can easily get access. I think we have 200 and a bit licenses that we may use to play with around. It's very.
And also as an MCT you have one.
I don't know that.
You don't know? Yeah.
I have that because I'm a.
TagNet, so
Ah, yeah.
you can have, I think we have to go to TagNet and activate something there. I really don't remember.
I didn't try that because we are a Microsoft Cloud partner. Yeah.
It's a U3 plan for 5 users, right? It's the one that I use.
Quick question.
Yeah?
I noticed you got a couple of admin accounts, which is one of the issues with Office 365 for, okay. Are you going to address that part?
No. The admin accounts, yeah.
Basically, you can do remote administration, but you're pretty much tied to the administration portion of the screen. And to be able to do things like the SharePoint or things like that, you pretty much have to use one of the licenses, and the customer very often is not really happy with that.
No, because you have to use an extra license for that. Yeah, we have the same issue. With your, if you go here to partner and you do your thing, you are lacking some features. So what we always do is create also an administrative account without a license, because you have some more things that you can do. And sometimes disable a license with the client, enable the license. To, yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It would be the PowerShell Exchange administration.
Yeah.
And more importantly,
Yeah.
SharePoint.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
SharePoint is a bit
SharePoint is different because you need to go into the SharePoint thing. But Exchange Online to create shared mailbox, you can do it with GUI, but to do But that's the first thing I do. When I receive the partner email, so the email from I've been assigned as a partner, I go in and I create myself a direct admin account with the user, with his domain name. But you don't have to assign licenses to it. SharePoint, you have to assign a license. Okay, here we are. Now I hope I can start up my connection here. It's actually the same server, but a snapshot of it. So I can show you the integration with Office 365. I don't know what the hiccup was before, but it seems faster now. So an out-of-the-box server. Out of the box, I played a bit around with it. But, I have this running at home on a small HP micro server. It's a box like that. It's running fantastically. You don't have to have very big hardware to do that. Yeah, if you need Exchange or something like that also on it, you need the power, of course. Okay, here, services. So you see different services like Active Directory. You can go to Azure and create your domain, Active Directory domain in Azure, and just integrate with that. Office 365. The moment I will enable Office 365, automatically my Active Directory sync will also be. But pay attention, it's a one-way sync for the passwords. So if I will show you the import of the users later on. If a user changes his password on Essential, on his domain, on his Windows domain, it will be synced to Office 365. If he goes to the portal and changes his password over there, it won't be synced. So it's one-way direction. It's not like you have a federation server that it's in two directions. It's one direction. Okay, just enable that. Integrate with Microsoft Office. I already have a subscription. Otherwise, you can buy one. Yeah, you have to have a password policy. And now that's neat, because now to the customers you can say, it's obliged. Because admit before asking a customer to have a password policy, this is all not easy. They always were complaining, why do we need that? Nobody will hack us, we are too small. We are never too small. With all those bots online, nobody is small anymore to be hacked. So, that's it. Now I just restart the dashboard. I go to users, and I can just import my Office 365 users. Or create a new user, and making sure that he is also connected to Office 365. It works in both directions. So users, import users from Microsoft Online. I can see them here. I will disable these admin accounts. I say, okay, go ahead, next. And he will just import his user accounts. They will be able to log in your domain. If they have the connector running, Outlook will be configured automatically. It's so easy to do. Okay. So he will get some temporary passwords because he cannot read the passwords from Office 365. What he did now is just change some passwords. He give you temporary passwords, so be careful with that. You need that. So we'll save this one because internet, don't hiccup on me. We'll save that on my dashboard because. So you saw how easy it was to just connect this computer. If you see this column here, means that it's a sync with the Microsoft Online. You can remove the sync, remove the user. If I remove a user here, I will also remove it in Office 365. Or I first have to disable the connection to Office 365. No, this is not different. That's why it's one direction. Yeah, otherwise it will be two directions. No, it's just it's a service running on the box The essentials connector service.
Which basically means that if you lose the small business server, nothing is affected in the tenant in Office 365. That's part of why my customers love this. As a partner, I teach for the partner network in Norway, and they love this new solution because it doesn't change the tenant like this sync and NDFS does.
With their sync, you really control them. Yes. So, all kind of things here. If you create a new user, if you say add user account, just create a new dummy user. Don't know if you know this one. You can say standard user or administrative user, no more no less. Make it standard user. Okay, have to give him an email address. So all the domains that are set up in your Office 365 will appear here. So just like that. Next. Licensing, of course. You need a license. This Yammer thing is a new thing for me. I don't think it's on long there. It's strange. We talked about Yammer for the IMCT community 2 weeks ago, and now suddenly it appears over here. So on the company drive, on the company shared folder, you can have read-write access. You can have his own shared folders. If it's an administrator, you can even give him the dashboard, meaning he can just browse with his Internet Explorer to your server from outside. You can just click on dashboard and he will receive dashboard. No more, no less. No desktop, no RDP connection, just the dashboard. So if you want to give that to your customer and you say, I don't want him to mess up things on my server, just want to give him his dashboard that he can create a user himself, disable a user, change a password, just provide him with the dashboard. So the user account is created. So if I go back now to my Office 365, it should also appear here somewhere. Still refreshing. Allez, Pietje. So, Jules is over here. Yeah. Very easy. Integration with Office 365. Can you read it? Resolution is not out there. Yeah. I'm still on track. Time manager. Yeah, thank you. So this user manager, very easy to use. Give that to your client. No more access to the server. Just give him this dashboard to create his users, disable his users. Done that, been there. Yeah, connecting mobile devices. Oops, a bit too far here. I'm missing some slides. Where is my thing here? It's a bit hard to show, to put the screen on the big screen. But you have a new server app that is called My Server R2. Can't find it. So just looking like that, you can see the nice metro style. You can see your shares. You can connect to your computer if you have one. To just click on it, you will open a remote desktop session over SSL. So you just need internet access. You don't have to set up difficult VPN tunnels. Just use SSL to connect it over. Yeah. So users are very fun to that. Yeah, but I don't think it have a connection for the moment. But you can. Yeah, it's a bit new now. Yeah. So you see your SharePoint online, your team sites will appear, your libraries that you created, and the SharePoint will appear. Yeah. That's an easy thing to configure. Yeah. With the mobile phone, the same thing. I put my mobile phone? No, not in my pocket. Yeah, but the same app for the mobile phone, very easy. You can use share. If you take a picture with your phone, you can just say share it, and my server will appear. Or you have an attachment that you have from an email and you want to put it from your mobile device into your share on the server. Just say share my server, save. Can even choose where you want to save it on the server. That's very easy to do that. So this was one integration. This is Office 365. Well, also I will have to log off because it's multiple, it's different accounts. And sometimes with this Windows 8.1, he just logs you in with your current Microsoft.NET account, but this is not the account that I want to use to go in Azure or to. So Windows Azure. Who has played with Azure before? Developers, certainly they have. Yeah. So you can sign up for a free trial and then really do neat stuff. So now you will see that, no, he won't do it. Okay, I'm glad. Logins always take most of the time. That's the slowest part, I think. A lot of control if you're signing in, a lot of different accounts. Yeah, there is. So come on, baby. Yeah. So Azure is a lot of things. You can create virtual machines, you can create storage, you can create backup vaults, SQL instances, and so on. All kind of different cloud services, websites. What I need here is a backup vault. Oh, already set it up. I've created a backup vault, naming the bastard. And the only thing then that you have to do is link it with a certificate. So on your Windows Server Essentials server, you can just create a certificate and upload that certificate to Windows Azure. From then on, it's very easy. Just connect to Azure, choose your vault, it will be available. Say next, 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 and backup will be easily. We will try that. Yeah?
Is it self-signed certificate, or you have the opportunity to create the certificate?
No, this is a self-signed certificate. You have the opportunity to create certificates for your anywhere access. I will come to that for the anywhere access. You can use your own certificates because you need to watch house and things. But for the backup, it's a self-signed certificate, a real computer certificate. It's not a web server certificate. It's an authentication certificate. Yeah, that you can do. Yeah. I think he does it in the background. But a lot of roles are installed on this Essential server, just not the GUI, the admin GUI. So sometimes, for example, for routing and remote access, I wanted to put manual IP addresses in. So you have to go to Features and just install the GUI of routing. The role is installed. Sometimes you just, then as an administrator, if you want to deep dive in some settings, you have to install manually. They hide that because a dummy user, like the client, cannot go into that. So, Intune, everybody know what Intune is. That's to manage your computer, to monitor. But now we will just use the Windows Azure backup. Yeah, you will go to the cloud also here. I don't need a second things. Click the sign, blah, 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 blah. I thought I already did that. Should install a client. And with the snapshotting thing I did, sometimes you don't know. But it's a small client. So you need a client to connect your Windows Server backup to Windows Azure backup. It's the same thing in 2012. You also need a client. You need to install this client. But it's, put it in. Don't need this website anymore. Okay. Luckily for us, it goes quite fast. Yeah, there is an update, blah, blah, blah. I hope I don't need it. Just to restart. Normally, now I should be able to go to online backup. Here he is. So I have to register my server for backup. Yeah. So no certificate yet. So I can just browse for the certificate. Yeah. Click here to see, blah, blah, blah. I can open the pod. I should have opened this pod before. Control C. Yeah, go to my vault here. I can see it, the bottom. It's so small. Ah, here, manage certificates. Yeah. Just paste the pod in it. Open. Pod does not exist, he says. Of course, it's from the server. I have to do that. My mistake. So I will do it from here. We'll just go to the location. Copy paste certificate that he created. Just paste it in here. Do that. Okay. So now it's just uploading the certificate, configuring it for this demo KHD. Still busy. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, and now it's showing up. So just installed the certificate in Azure. He connects to Azure because he knows my account. I already provided my Microsoft account for Office 365, and he just knows the link. And he does that. So, very easy to connect. Next. Yeah, you have to have quite a long passphrase. Yeah, thank you. I was almost there. Okay. So, but that's how easy you can connect your backup to Azure. No more worries. No more thinking, will my client change his tape or will he put the right USB drive in the right USB port? No, you as an implementer, you are sure that his backup is in the cloud. If something goes wrong, that you can just reinstall his server. And of course, now you can say protected folders, you can create your backups and so on. So this is bringing cloud services to our small business client. Now our small business client himself can also bring easily services the other way around. So I will just show you the bottom because I heard you have some time issues here. It's always difficult to have time issues. So once again in the services, thank you. So just go to setup, set up anywhere access, configure anywhere access. Just follow the wizard. We'll skip the router setup. Yeah, too late. Next. You can use your own domain here. We'll use one. Okay, next. He will ask you about setting up your domain name. Have to create some A records. That's just normally, but he will do that for you if he has access, if you are with GoDaddy or some well-known domain name providers. He will do that for you, but don't like that. Will set it up myself. I have manually set it up. Next. Then you can change this one. For me, for example, I made it KHD demo. Okay. I want to purchase or want to use an existing SSL. I want to use an existing SSL. Yeah. Browse, and I hope it's here on my desktop. I don't know for sure. No, it's not on my desktop here. Maybe. It was on my other computer. Where can I find this one? I will just quickly connect to the server where I can find that. That's the neat thing of SSL. You can fuck up any protocol. I cannot say that in recording, sorry. Yeah, passwords. I think the certificate should be here somewhere on my desktop. Yeah, that's the one. There's just a certificate with the asterisk in, so you can use it for any subdomain name. Go back to my other server. Paste it here on my desktop. Browse on my desktop for my certificate, put in my password. So, then you have to say, okay, go and configure VPN and remote web access. Yeah, you can add some user groups. And now he will install every role necessary, like remote desktop gateway service, internet information service. He will set up your default website. He will set up your bindings. He will bind your SSL certificate to the port 443. He will all do that for you. Very easy to set it up. Setting up remote desktops, and now he's really installing this remote desktop gateway service, making sure that we can access all of this. Creating these policies to allow the users to connect, and so on, and so on. Once you have that, you have a neat portal website to surf to, where you can access and you can log into, and then you have the same view as you saw on my tablet. You have your files, your shared files, your SharePoint connections, but also a button, click on it, remote desktop into your client PC that's on-premise. Of course, you have to let it on. Well, I think you have to have some wake-up on LAN features now to do that. That he will do it automatically for you. You can set it up to use wake up on LAN. This takes a while because I actually have to do some stuff. He just created his remote desktop services. Now he's configuring my website. Yeah, Mark?
A couple of points on since we're waiting. First thing, I'm getting a number of errors with the router because it requires a universal plug and play, which is not a very reliable protocol. So I'm getting very often the router to fail. Yeah. And although it's port 80 and 443 that are supposed to be open, it seems that it's not happy with just those. It looks like the RDP in the 1723 for VPN in case you enable that are required condition to that. Is that your experience?
That's my experience too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any way to get around the router issues?
Well, here for example, only 80 and 443 is open, so I'm not happy putting 80 open. Shouldn't be open. 3 should be open. Yeah. The VPN connection quite...
The 80 should only be used for redirecting to 443.
Yeah. You should have a required SSL on, so it will directly recreate you. So now he's setting up this VPN. He will set up an STTP VPN connection, and that's worked quite good. So you don't need the 1723. You only need SSL for that one. But I had some problems connecting computers from the outside, but it was certificate related also, because you have your external URL, and then suddenly you want to use your internal URL, and
the other issue is the dynamic DNS, because my understanding is at this point it only works with the internal Microsoft domain. So if you use the, I can't remember if it's homeserver.com or something like that. If you use your own domain, you're responsible for the dynamic DNS.
yeah, for the dynamical DNS and making sure your A record is always good. But now more and more clients will get a fixed IP address, even small businesses.
Not when there's only 3 employees.
No, not when there's only 3 employees. No, but that's a good example, because this is a neat server for such a small company. Yeah, it's very fine.
As you know, that the essential experience is now part, since R2, with the entire lineup of servers. Now, in the non-R2 version, you were limited to the essential experience up to 75 users.
Yeah.
Do you know what the limit is now with R2? I mean, can you have an environment like Nestlé of 300,000 people using the essential? I think I read somewhere that there was a limit of 200 or 300, but I'm not sure. Do you know that?
I don't know the limitations in terms of the number of users, but the Essentials role in 2012 R2 has a number of requirements for Active Directory infrastructure. You can't have a multi-domain for us.
No, multi-domain can do it.
So there are a lot of limitations.
But I don't think there are limitations on the number of users.
Because when
you have to leave calls.
Yeah, when you go to the standard and data center, it's just the number of counts.
Nestlé has only one domain and only one image for 300,000 computers.
But basically, it's this is a role you install on the server, so you need the traditional CAL model.
Right.
And if you already have that CAL model, then you can basically just enable the Essentials experience on how many servers you like. However, you need to keep on track that you can't have read-only domain controllers in a
have to have writable domain controllers.
Only writable.
Okay.
So here, that's the thing you have, UPnP router, because I forget to select the selection on do not configure my router. It was a thing that I could go. But bad, you can just say, okay, go over it, and then I want to skip this one and say close. And now everything is set up, so should be able now to connect to my, I don't know if I have my ports open here.
By the way, I have a screenshot of that entire product because I do a lot of Office 365
Yeah.
and I did this for my own sake, really, but I don't mind sharing those. So I have basically those screenshots of everything, including the entire purchase process of the names, certificates.
That's always nice to have.
So I'm willing to share those.
Out of the box installed, and this thing is, I will now try to, maybe with, I think I'm going in overtime, no? Yeah? Well, we're done here. Yeah. I should put my domain name for it. It's admin KHD.
You can finish off, but I'm just going to inform.
Yeah, we're done.
Somebody.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the speakers, Phil, is still feeling ill, so it's going to be each time to get around.
Yeah, but we need coffee.
Yeah, then when you're done, you just go come down to the other section. There's a few security session in the other room.
Your session just became a 2-hour session.
Yeah, thank you.
You have enough slides.
Okay, thank you.